Please don't scream. The man chained to the basement wall was covered in blood. Fresh blood. His face was barely recognizable through the swelling and bruises. But Walker knew exactly who he was. Daniel Ross, the Mafia boss who'd vanished 3 months ago. The one every federal agent in New York was searching for. He was here, in her employer's basement, chained like an animal, and she just locked eyes with him. Her hand flew to her mouth, trapping the scream building in her throat. The wine bottle slipped from her other hand, shattering across the concrete floor. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Upstairs, footsteps stopped, then started moving. Toward the basement door. She had seconds to decide run or hide. Either way, her life was over. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and stay until the very end. This story goes places you won't believe. Drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this reaches. Now let's continue. The footsteps were getting closer. Na's brain screamed at her to move, but her legs had turned to stone. The broken wine bottle sparkled at her feet like evidence of her stupidity. She dropped a $3,000 bottle of Chateau d'Yquem on concrete because she couldn't keep her grip on reality for 5 seconds. The door, Daniel Ross hissed from his chains. Close the door. She snapped out of her paralysis and lunged for it, pulling it shut just as she heard Mrs. Henderson's voice at the top of the basement stairs. "Now you down there." Her throat closed up. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't answer her. Daniel whispered. His voice was commanding, even in chains. "Answer her now." Yes, the word burst out of her, too loud, too sharp. She swallowed and tried again. "Yes, Mrs. Henderson, I'm here. I dropped the bottle. I'm so sorry. It slipped right out of my hands." Silence from above. Na counted her heartbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. "Come up here, now." It wasn't a request. Na's eyes met Daniel's through the dim light. He gave her the smallest shake of his head, a warning. Then he mouthed 2 words, "Say nothing." She pulled the door shut behind her and walked back through the wine cellar on legs that didn't feel like her own. Every step crunched on broken glass. Every breath felt like her last. By the time she reached the marble stairs, her hands were shaking so badly she had to clutch the railing to climb. Mrs. Henderson stood at the top, backlit by the kitchen lights. Na couldn't see her expression, and somehow that made it worse. "I'm so sorry," Na started. "I don't know what happened. The bottle just..." "Stop." Mrs. Henderson's voice could have frozen hell over. "Come with me." They walked through the kitchen in silence, past the industrial stoves where tomorrow's breakfast would be prepared, past the marble countertops that Na had scrubbed just this morning, through the servants' quarter and into a small office Na had only seen once before on her first day. Mrs. Henderson closed the door. "Sit." Na sat. The older woman crossed her arms and leaned against the desk. For a long moment she just stared, then, "What did you see?" "See, Don't play games with me, girl. What did you see?" Na's mouth went dry. This was it. The test Daniel had warned her about. Every word mattered. Every breath could be her last. "Wine racks," she said, keeping her voice steady. "Bottles, some old furniture in the back, and my own clumsiness when I dropped that bottle. That's it." Mrs. Henderson's eyes narrowed. "You didn't go past the main cellar." "Past it, no. Why would I? You said 3rd rack from the left. That's where I went. And you didn't hear anything. See anything unusual?" "Like what?" The question hung between them. Mrs. Henderson pushed off the desk and moved closer. "Mr. Caldwell values loyalty above everything, Na. Above competence, above intelligence, above family." She paused. "Do you know what happens to people who betray his loyalty?" Na's heart hammered against her ribs. "No, ma'am. They disappear." Mrs. Henderson said it like she was commenting on the weather. "One day they're here, the next they're not. No bodies, no investigations, just gone." She tilted her head. "Do you understand what I'm telling you?" "Yes, ma'am." "Good." Mrs. Henderson straightened up. "Clean up that wine, all of it. I don't want to see a single shard of glass. Then go home. Your shift is over." "It's only 9:15. "I said your shift is over." Na stood on shaking legs. "Yes, ma'am." She'd made it to the door when Mrs. Henderson spoke again. "Nah." She turned. The older woman's expression had softened just slightly. Whatever you think you might have seen or heard tonight, you didn't. For your own sake, you didn't. Are we clear? So she had seen something. Or Mrs. Henderson thought she had. Crystal clear, Na said. She walked back to the basement on autopilot. Her mind was racing so fast she felt dizzy. Mrs. Henderson knew, or suspected, which meant Caldwell would know soon if he didn't already. She grabbed a broom and dustpan from the utility closet and descended the stairs for the second time that night. But this time, as she swept up the broken glass and expensive wine, she made a decision. She was going back to that room. Not tonight, not with Mrs. Henderson watching, but soon. Because something in Daniel Ross's eyes had looked familiar, desperate, human. And because Nawalker had spent 23 years being invisible, being safe, being small. 23 years of watching rich people break laws and lives while she scrubbed their toilets and kept her mouth shut. Maybe it was time to be seen. She finished cleaning, carried the trash up, and grabbed her coat from the staff room. The house was quieter now. Most of the staff had gone home. Only the night security remained, and they stayed in the front gatehouse far from the basement. As she walked to her car, she passed Mr. Caldwell's study. The light was on the door, cracked open just enough to see inside. He stood with his back to the door, phone pressed to his ear. I don't care what Webb says, he was saying. The Walker woman is a problem. I can feel it. A pause. No, not yet. Let her think she's safe. People make mistakes when they feel safe. Another pause, then a laugh that made Na's skin crawl. Exactly. Give her enough rope to hang herself. Na forced herself to keep walking, forced her steps to stay steady, her breathing even. She made it to her car, climbed in, locked the doors, and sat there for 5 full minutes before her hands stopped shaking enough to start the engine. He knew. He didn't have proof, but he knew. Which meant she had days, maybe hours, before he decided she was too much of a liability to keep around. The drive back to Queens took 40 minutes. 40 minutes of checking her rearview mirror for cars that might be following her. 40 minutes of running through scenarios, most of which ended with her body in the Hudson River. Her apartment building looked the same as always. Peeling paint, broken buzzer, the smell of garbage from the overflowing bins by the entrance. But tonight it felt different. Tonight every shadow could be hiding someone sent to make sure she disappeared quietly. She took the stairs instead of the elevator, harder to trap someone on stairs, and didn't relax until she was inside her studio with 3 locks engaged and a chair wedged under the doorknob. Then finally she let herself fall apart. She sank onto her secondhand couch and put her head in her hands. Her whole body was shaking now, adrenaline draining away and leaving exhaustion in its wake. She'd been stupid. So incredibly stupid. She should have just grabbed the wine and left, should have ignored the sound, should have her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She stared at it for 3 rings before answering. Hello, Ms. Walker. The voice was smooth, professional, and completely unfamiliar. My name is Marcus Webb. I'm with the FBI. I need to talk to you about your employer. Her blood turned to ice. I don't understand. I think you do. I think you saw something tonight at the Caldwell estate. Something that frightened you. Something you can't stop thinking about. Daniel's words echoed in her head. Special Agent Marcus Webb. Caldwell owns him. I don't know what you're talking about, she said carefully. Ms. Walker, if you're in danger, I can help you. But you need to trust me. You need to tell me what you saw. I saw wine bottles and my own clumsiness, that's all. Don't lie to a federal agent, Ms. Walker. That's a crime. So is harassment. Her voice came out stronger than she felt. I've had a long day, Agent Webb. Unless you have a warrant or an actual reason for this call, I'm hanging up now. Wait, she ended the call and immediately turned off her phone. Then she sat in the dark, waiting for dawn. Sleep was impossible. Every creak of the building made her jump. Every car passing outside could be them coming for her. At 3 a.m., she gave up trying and made coffee. At 4 a.m., she started planning. If Caldwell wanted her dead, she'd be dead already, which meant he wanted something else first. Confirmation that she'd seen Daniel. Information about what she knew. Maybe he wanted to see if she'd run and if she'd talk, if she'd try to play hero. Fine. She'd give him a show. At 6 a.m., she showered, dressed in her cleanest uniform, and drove back to the estate. If she was going to die, she'd die on her own terms. Not running, not hiding, fighting. The morning sun painted the Caldwell mansion in gold. It looked like something from a fairy tale. Towers and terraces and gardens that required 6 full-time groundskeepers. The kind of place little girls dreamed about. If only they knew what hid in the basement. Mrs. Henderson was already in the kitchen when Na arrived. The older woman's eyebrows rose slightly. "You're early." "Couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about that wine I wasted." Na hung up her coat. "Thought I'd come in early, make up for it." Mrs. Henderson turned back to her coffee. "Mr. Caldwell wants to see you, 9 a.m. sharp. His study." Did he say why? Mr. Caldwell doesn't explain himself to me. But something in her tone suggested she knew exactly why. Na nodded and headed to the supply closet. She had 3 hours before that meeting. 3 hours to figure out how to stay alive. She spent the first hour cleaning the third-floor bathrooms. Routine work. Mindless. It gave her time to think. The key to Daniel's chains was still in her pocket. She transferred it to today's uniform without thinking. Evidence of her crime burning against her thigh. She should throw it away, toss it in the garbage, and forget she'd ever seen a man in chains. But she couldn't. At 8 a.m. she saw her first opening. Mr. Caldwell's bedroom door was open and voices drifted out. He was on a phone call, pacing agitated. "I don't care if it takes all night," he was saying. "Find out who she's talked to. Check her phone records, her emails. I want to know if she's breathed wrong." He was talking about her. Na kept moving, pushing her cart past the door like she hadn't heard a thing. But her mind was racing. Phone records. He'd see the call from Webb. He'd know the FBI had reached out to her. Unless she made the first move. She pulled out her phone and turned it back on. As expected, there were 6 missed calls from the same unknown number. Webb, probably. She deleted them all. Then she composed a text message. "To Mrs. Henderson, I got a weird call last night from someone claiming to be FBI. Asked about Mr. Caldwell. Didn't say anything, but thought you should know." She hit send before she could second guess it. The response came within seconds. "Come to the kitchen now. Na found Mrs. Henderson with Mr. Caldwell himself." Both of them looked grim. "Tell him what you told me," Mrs. Henderson said. Na repeated the story, making herself sound confused and a little scared. "He said his name was Marcus Webb. Said he wanted to talk about Mr. Caldwell. I told him I didn't know anything and hung up." Caldwell's expression was unreadable. "And you're just telling us now?" "I didn't think it was important until this morning. I thought maybe it was a prank or—" She let her voice trail off uncertainly. "Did you tell him anything?" Caldwell's voice was sharp. "No, sir. I swear. I said I didn't know what he was talking about and ended the call." Caldwell studied her for a long moment. Then he smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "Good girl, you did exactly right. If he calls again, you tell me immediately." "Understood." "Yes, sir." "Excellent." He glanced at Mrs. Henderson. "I think Ms. Walker has earned that promotion we discussed." Mrs. Henderson's lips thinned, but she nodded. "Promotion?" Na asked. "Personal assistant," Caldwell said smoothly. "Starting today, triple your current salary. You'll work directly with me on sensitive matters. Which means, of course, the utmost discretion is required." It was a golden cage. He was bringing her closer to keep her under control, to watch her, to make sure she couldn't move without him knowing. "I don't know what to say, sir." "Say yes." What choice did she have? "Yes, thank you, sir." "Wonderful. Your first task." He reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a manila folder. "Review these files. I need detailed notes by end of day." She took the folder. As she did, she caught a glimpse inside the desk drawer he'd opened. Third drawer down right side, where the key had been. Her stomach dropped. The drawer was open barely an inch, but she could see inside. The false bottom was popped up just slightly, like someone had checked it recently and hadn't quite closed it all the way. He knew the key was gone. Her fingers tightened on the folder, but she kept her expression neutral. "I'll get started right away." "One more thing." Caldwell's voice stopped her at the door. "As my personal assistant, you'll need access to all areas of the house, including the basement." He paused. "I trust that won't be a problem." It was a trap, a test within a test within a test. "Of course not, sir." "Good, because I'd hate for there to be any misunderstandings about what you might see down there." There it was, the threat wrapped in politeness. "I'm very good at minding my own business, sir." I know you are. That's why I hired you. He turned back to his computer, dismissing her. That will be all. Na walked back to the service corridor on legs that felt like water. She'd just been promoted and threatened in the same breath. Caldwell knew something. Maybe not everything, but something. And the key in her pocket felt like a time bomb ticking down. She made it to the staff bathroom and locked herself in a stall. Her hands were shaking so badly it took 3 tries to get the folder open. Inside were police reports, crime scene photos, financial records, all related to the 16 disappearances Daniel had mentioned. All the victims had one thing in common. They'd worked for Caldwell. Drivers, housekeepers, security guards, accountants, people who'd seen too much, people who'd become liabilities. There was a sticky note on the top page handwritten in Caldwell's precise script, "For disposal, burn after review." He was showing her what happened to people who crossed him, making sure she understood the stakes. The last page made her blood run cold. It was a police report dated 3 days ago. Missing person, female, age 32, last seen leaving the Caldwell estate after her shift. The woman's name was Rachel Torres. She'd been a housekeeper. Na's replacement. The woman who'd had this job before her had disappeared. And now Na was being shown the file like it was a job orientation package. She barely made it to the toilet before she threw up. When the shaking finally stopped, she cleaned herself up and stared at her reflection in the mirror. Her face looked gray, haunted, like she'd aged 10 years in 2 days. A knock on the door made her jump. "Nah, you okay in there?" Mrs. Henderson's voice. "Fine, just feeling a little sick." "Well, pull yourself together. Mr. Caldwell wants those notes by 5 p.m. Na splashed water on her face and straightened her uniform. When she emerged, Mrs. Henderson was waiting at arms crossed. "A word of advice," the older woman said quietly. "Don't go looking for trouble. Do your job. Keep your head down. Forget everything else." "Is that what you did when Rachel Torres disappeared?" Mrs. Henderson's face went stone cold. "Rachel made mistakes. Don't make the same ones." "What mistakes?" "The kind that get you killed." Mrs. Henderson leaned in close. "I've worked for the Caldwells for 30 years. You know why I'm still here? Because I'm deaf, dumb, and blind when I need to be. You'd do well to learn the same." She walked away, leaving Na alone in the corridor. The rest of the morning passed in a haze. Na pretended to review the files while her mind spun in circles. She had to get Daniel out, had to get that evidence, had to, "Excuse me, miss." She looked up to find a man in an expensive suit standing in the doorway, mid-40s, graying hair, sharp eyes. He looked familiar. "Can I help you?" she asked. "Marcus Webb." He flashed an FBI badge. "We spoke on the phone last night. I wonder if I could have a moment of your time." Her heart stopped. He was here, in Caldwell's house. Had Caldwell invited him, or had he come on his own? "I'm working," she said carefully, "and I already told you everything I know, which is nothing. This will only take a minute." He stepped into the room and closed the door behind him. Na stood up, putting the desk between them. "You need to leave. Mr. Caldwell doesn't like unexpected visitors." "Oh, Edward knows I'm here. We're old friends." Webb smiled, and it was the coldest thing she'd ever seen. "He tells me you've been promoted. Personal assistant. That's quite a step up from housekeeper." "I'm good at my job." "I'm sure you are." He moved closer. "Here's the thing, Ms. Walker. I know you saw something last night, and I know you're scared, but keeping quiet isn't going to save you. Caldwell doesn't leave loose ends. Like Rachel Torres." Webb's smile widened. Exactly like Rachel Torres. She saw something she shouldn't have. Tried to do the right thing. Came to me, actually. Said she wanted to report suspicious activity. "What happened to her?" "She disappeared before she could tell me what she saw." "Funny how that works." He pulled out a business card and set it on the desk. "When you're ready to talk, and you will be, because Caldwell will turn on you, eventually call me. I can protect you. Like you protected Rachel." His smile vanished. "Rachel waited too long. Don't make the same mistake." He left, and Na stared at the business card like it was a snake. Webb was dirty. Daniel had been right about that, but he was also right that Caldwell would eventually decide she was a liability. The question was, who would kill her first? She pocketed the card and went back to the files. By 3 p.m., she'd read every page twice and taken meticulous notes. By 4 p.m., she'd formulated a plan. It was stupid, reckless, probably suicidal, but it was the only plan she had. At 4:30 p.m., she delivered her notes to Caldwell's study. He read them carefully, nodding occasionally. Excellent work, Miss Walker. Very thorough. He set the pages aside. I think you'll work out nicely. Thank you, sir. You're free to go home. Get some rest. Tomorrow we'll begin your real training. She nodded and turned to leave. Oh, and she stopped. If Agent Webb contacts you again, you'll tell me immediately. Won't you? Of course, sir. She could feel his eyes on her back all the way to the door. The house was quieter now. Most of the staff had gone home for the day. Only security and the evening shift remained. Na grabbed her coat and purse, but instead of heading for the parking lot, she detoured toward the basement stairs. Her shift ended at 5 p.m. It was 4:45. She had 15 minutes. The basement was empty. She moved quickly through the wine cellar past the broken glass she'd cleaned up last night to the hidden door. It opened silently. The corridor beyond was dark. She pulled out her phone and used the flashlight to guide her way. The second door was still unchained. She pushed it open. Daniel Ross looked up from where he sat against the wall. His good eye widened when he saw her. You came back, he said. I brought food. She pulled 2 sandwiches and water bottles from her purse. And this. She held up the key. His breath caught. You got it. I got it. But Caldwell knows it's missing. He's testing me, watching me. I don't have much time. Then let's make it count. He held out his hands. She knelt beside him and fitted the key into the lock on his chains. Her hands were shaking so badly it took 3 tries, but finally click. The chains fell away. Daniel stood up slowly, his legs shaky from weeks of being chained, but his eyes were clear and focused. We need to move fast, he said. The evidence is in a storage unit in Brooklyn, under a false name. Once we have it, we bring down Caldwell. Na finished. No. Daniel grabbed her shoulders. We bring down everyone, Pam. Caldwell, Webb, the whole network. But it's going to get ugly first. Are you sure you're ready for that? Na thought of Rachel Torres, of the 16 other victims, of every person who had tried to look away and ended up dead anyway. I'm ready. Then let's. Footsteps echoed from the corridor above. They both froze. Nah, Mrs. Henderson's voice. Are you down here? Daniel's hand went to Na's arm, squeezing tight. His eyes asked the question, what do we do? The footsteps were getting closer. Na's mind raced through options in the 3 seconds she had before Mrs. Henderson reached the bottom of the stairs. Daniel's grip on her arm tightened, his body coiled like a spring ready to strike. But Na shook her head sharply. Violence would only make this worse. Stay here, she whispered. Don't move. Don't breathe. She stepped out of the room, pulling the door closed behind her just as Mrs. Henderson rounded the corner into the wine cellar. There you are. The older woman's eyes narrowed. What are you doing down here? Na held up her phone, keeping her voice steady. I dropped an earring last night when I broke the bottle. Thought I'd check before the cleaning crew swept through tomorrow. She made a show of looking at the floor. No luck, though. Mrs. Henderson moved closer, her gaze sweeping the cellar. You shouldn't be down here alone. I know. I'm sorry. It was a gift from my sister. Sentimental value. Na started walking toward the stairs, forcing Mrs. Henderson to either follow or let her pass. I'll head out now. My shift's over anyway. Wait. Mrs. Henderson's hand shot out, gripping Na's wrist. Her fingers were cold, strong. Mr. Caldwell wanted me to give you something. She pulled out an envelope from her pocket. Heavy, expensive paper. Na took it with her free hand. What is this? Your first month's salary at the new rate. Mrs. Henderson released her wrist. He wanted you to know how much he values loyalty. The envelope felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Blood money. Hush money. Money to keep her complicit. That's very generous, Na managed. It is, don't forget that. Mrs. Henderson stepped past her, moving deeper into the cellar. Now go home. Get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. Na climbed the stairs, on shaking legs, the envelope clutched in her hand. Behind her, she heard Mrs. Henderson moving through the wine racks, checking, searching, looking for evidence of what Na had just done. She made it to her car and sat in the driver's seat staring at the envelope. Inside was cash. A lot of cash. More money than she'd make in 6 months at her old salary. She threw it on the passenger seat like it was contaminated. Daniel was still down there, still chained because she hadn't finished unlocking all the restraints before they'd been interrupted. She'd freed his hands but not his ankles. He could move maybe 6 feet before the remaining chain stopped him. And Mrs. Henderson was down there right now, walking through the cellar, maybe heading toward that hidden door. Na pulled out her phone. No way to warn him, no way to help. All she could do was sit here and wait to see if Mrs. Henderson discovered what she'd done. 5 minutes passed, and then 10. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered without thinking. Hello? It's me. Daniel's voice was barely a whisper. She's gone, but we have a problem. How are you calling me? Found a phone in the corridor. Someone dropped it. Doesn't matter. Listen, she knows something's wrong. She spent 10 minutes checking the locks on these doors. We're out of time, boys. I can come back tonight, after everyone's asleep. No, it's too risky. Caldwell's increasing security. I heard them talking about it earlier. Motion sensors in the basement. Cameras. Na's stomach dropped. When installation starts tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, which meant tonight was their only chance. What do we do, she asked. You need to create a distraction, something big enough to get security away from the house. Then come get me. We'll have maybe 20 minutes before they realize what's happening. A distraction? Like what? I don't know. You're the one on the outside. His voice was strained. But it needs to happen tonight, nah. Because tomorrow I'm either dead or moved to a location where you'll never find me. The line went dead. Na sat in her car, her mind spinning. A distraction, big enough to pull security away from a mansion with a $10 million alarm system and armed guards. She was a housekeeper. What did she know about creating diversions? Then she remembered the file Caldwell had given her, the one about the disappearances, the one he'd wanted her to burn. She still had it in her purse. Her hands moved before her brain caught up. She pulled out the file and started photographing every page with her phone. Police reports, crime scene photos, financial records, evidence of 16 murders, evidence that could destroy Edward Caldwell. When she finished, she pulled up her email and attached all the photos to a new message. But who could she send it to? Webb was dirty. The local police were on Caldwell's payroll. She needed someone outside the system, someone who couldn't be bought. She typed in an email address she'd seen on TV last week. An investigative journalist who'd done an expose on corruption in New York. Sarah Chen at the New York Tribune. Her fingers hovered over the send button. This was it. The point of no return. Once she sent this, Caldwell would know she'd betrayed him. There would be no going back. No forgiveness, no mercy. She thought of Rachel Torres, of the 16 victims, of Daniel Ross chained in a basement waiting to die. She hit send. Then she started her car and drove. Not home, not to safety, to a hardware store 3 blocks away. She bought lighter fluid, matches, a burner phone, paid in cash from the envelope Mrs. Henderson had given her. The irony wasn't lost on her. By the time she got back to her apartment, it was 7 p.m. She had 5 hours before the night security shift changed at midnight. 5 hours to plan something that wouldn't get her killed. Her phone rang, her real phone. The caller ID said New York Tribune. Her heart stopped. Hello, is this Na Walker? A woman's voice. Professional? Urgent. Who's asking? Sarah Chen, you just sent me 17 emails with attached files. Police reports. Evidence of multiple homicides connected to Edward Caldwell. A pause, and is this real? Na's throat tightened. Yes. Can you prove it? I work for him. I found the files in his study. He gave them to me to burn. Jesus. Sarah's voice dropped lower. Do you know what you've just done? Caldwell has connections everywhere. If he finds out you sent this, he's going to find out anyway. That's not why I'm calling. Why are you calling? Because there's more. There's a man chained in Caldwell's basement. Daniel Ross, the one who disappeared 3 months ago. Silence on the other end. Then you're serious. Completely. And I need to get him out tonight before Caldwell moves him or kills him. You need to call the FBI. The FBI agent assigned to this case is on Caldwell's payroll, Marcus Webb. He's the reason Ross is in chains instead of protective custody. More silence. Na could hear typing in the background. I'm looking at Webb's financials now, Sarah said. He bought a house in the Hamptons last year. $3 million on a government salary. More typing. Okay, I believe you. What do you need from me? I need you to publish this story tonight. All of it. The murders, the corruption, Webb, everything. Make it public before Caldwell can cover it up. That's not how journalism works. I need to verify sources, fact check, get statements. There's no time for that. If you wait, people will die, including me. I could lose my job, my reputation, everything. And I could lose my life. So could Daniel Ross. So could the next person who sees something they shouldn't in that house. Na's voice cracked. Please, I'm begging you, just publish it. Sarah was quiet for a long moment. If I do this, if I stick my neck out like this, I need something from you. What? An interview, on camera, your face, your name, everything. I need you to go on record. Na closed her eyes. Once her face was out there would be no hiding. Caldwell would hunt her down. So would everyone in his network. But wasn't that already true? The moment she'd sent those emails, she'd signed her own death warrant. Around. Fine, but after I get Ross out, deal. Deal. I'll have the story online in 2 hours, and nah, Sarah's voice softened. Be careful. These people don't play games. I know. Na hung up and stared at her apartment. Everything she owned fit in this one room. Secondhand furniture, Goodwill clothes, a life built on scraps and survival. She packed a bag, just the essentials. Then she sat down and wrote a letter to her sister, just in case. At 9 p.m., she got in her car and drove back to the estate. The grounds were dark, illuminated only by security lights positioned every 50 feet along the fence line. She parked 2 blocks away and walked, keeping to the shadows. The service entrance was locked, but she still had her key. She slipped inside and moved through the darkened corridors like a ghost. She'd cleaned these halls for 6 months, knew every creak in the floorboards, every blind spot in the security cameras. The basement stairs were ahead when she heard voices. Don't care what time it is. I want motion sensors installed tonight. All 3 levels. Caldwell's voice sharp with irritation. Sir, the earliest we can get a crew here is tomorrow morning. Another man. Head of security, maybe. Then you do it yourself. I want this house locked down by midnight. Na pressed herself against the wall, hardly breathing. Footsteps passed within inches of her hiding spot. She caught a glimpse of Caldwell's profile, his jaw tight with anger. He was scared. Actually scared. Good. She waited until the footsteps faded, then moved quickly to the basement door. Unlocked it. Descended into darkness. The wine cellar was exactly as she'd left it. She navigated by memory and the dim light from her phone, reaching the hidden door in less than a minute. Daniel was waiting on the other side, standing despite the ankle chain. His face was a mask of tension. You came. I said I would. She knelt and pulled out the key, fitting it into the ankle restraint. We have maybe 10 minutes before security sweeps this level. Where are we going? Brooklyn, you said the evidence is in a storage unit there. The lock clicked open. Daniel stepped free for the first time in 83 days. He swayed, catching himself against the wall. I can walk. Can you run? If I have to. They moved back through the corridor, through the wine cellar toward the stairs. Na's heart hammered against her ribs. Any second now, an alarm would sound. Security would descend. It would all be over. But they made it to the top of the stairs, into the corridor, past the kitchen, almost to the service exit when the lights blazed on. Stop right there. Mrs. Henderson stood in the doorway and she was holding a gun. Na froze. Daniel shifted beside her, tensing. You couldn't just leave well enough alone, could you? Mrs. Henderson's voice was sad. Actually sad. I tried to warn you, Na. I tried to give you a way out. By telling me to ignore a man being tortured in the basement. By telling you to survive. That's all any of us can do in this world. The gun didn't waver. Mr. Caldwell is on his way. You have about 2 minutes before he gets here. If you're smart, you'll run. Get as far away as you can before... Before what? Daniel's voice was cold. Before he kills her like he killed the others. She doesn't have to die, not if she keeps her mouth shut. She already sent the files to a journalist, Daniel said, and Na's blood went cold. How did he know that? Mrs. Henderson's face went pale. You what? I sent everything to the New York Tribune, police reports, financial records, all of it. It's probably online already. Mrs. Henderson lowered the gun slightly. Then you've killed us all. No, I've given you a chance. Na took a step forward. You can come with us. Tell the truth. Get immunity. Start over. Start over? Mrs. Henderson laughed bitter. I'm 63 years old with no family and no savings beyond what Caldwell pays me. Where exactly would I start over? Anywhere that's not here. It's too late for me, Sing. Mrs. Henderson raised the gun again. But not for you. So go, both of you, before I change my mind. Na didn't wait to be told twice. She grabbed Daniel's arm and pulled him toward the exit. They burst into the night air just as headlights swept across the driveway. Caldwell's car. This way? Daniel veered left toward the gardens. They ran. Na's lungs burned her legs screaming, but she didn't stop. Behind them she heard shouting, car doors slamming, the sharp crack of a gunshot. Daniel stumbled, and for a horrible second, Na thought he'd been hit. But he caught himself and kept running. They crashed through the hedge, maize branches tearing at their clothes. Another gunshot. Closer this time. The fence, Daniel pointed ahead. Can you climb? I'll have to. The fence was 8 feet of wrought iron, topped with decorative spikes. Na jumped, caught the bars, hauled herself up. Her hands screamed in protest, but she pulled herself over the top and dropped to the other side. Daniel followed, moving faster than someone who'd been chained for 3 months should be able to move. Adrenaline was a hell of a drug. They hit the ground running and didn't stop until they reached Na's car 2 blocks away. She fumbled with the keys, dropped them, grabbed them again. Finally got the door open. Daniel collapsed into the passenger seat. Drive. She drove. No destination in mind except away. Away from the estate. Away from Caldwell. Away from the life she'd known for 6 months. Brooklyn, Daniel said after 5 minutes of silence. Atlantic Avenue, storage facility called Secure Space. What name is the unit under? Thomas Brennan, my mother's maiden name. He leaned his head back against the seat. Thank you for not leaving me there. Thank you for not being dead when I came back. He laughed a sound that turned into a cough. Close call. Caldwell visited me yesterday, said he'd given me enough time to think, that today was my last chance to tell him where the evidence was. He touched his ribs, wincing. He was getting creative with his persuasion methods. How bad are you hurt? I'll live for now. He glanced at her. You really sent those files to a reporter. How did you know about that? I didn't. I guessed. You had that look, like someone who just burned down their entire life. He smiled slightly. Takes one to know one. Na's phone buzzed. Text message from an unknown number. Story is live. All hell is breaking loose. Stay safe. See. She pulled up the New York Tribune website on her phone while stopped at a red light. The headline was front and center exclusive evidence. Links billionaire Edward Caldwell to multiple murders. Kidnapping of missing Mafia boss. Below it, a photo of Caldwell at one of his charity galas smiling for the cameras. It's out there, she said. Everything. Daniel took her phone and read through the article. His expression was unreadable. She did good work, hit all the key points. Webb is going to lose his mind. Webb is going to lose his job, maybe his freedom. Good. They drove in silence for another 10 minutes. Na's mind was spinning with everything that had just happened. Everything that was still to come. What happens now? She asked quietly. Now we get the evidence. Then we disappear until the FBI gets its act together and arrests everyone involved. He looked out the window. You're going to need a new identity, new life. Witness protection, probably. I had a new life 6 months ago, before I took that job. What was it like your old life? Small, quiet, safe. She gripped the steering wheel tighter. Boring as hell if I'm being honest. Well, Daniel shifted in his seat. You certainly fixed that problem. Despite everything, Na laughed. They reached Brooklyn 40 minutes later. The storage facility was in a rough part of town surrounded by chain link fence and barbed wire. Daniel directed her to Unit 237. The lock required a combination. Daniel's fingers moved automatically, muscle memory from months ago. The door rolled up with a metallic screech. Inside were 4 filing boxes and a laptop. That's it? Na stared at the boxes. That's what all this was for. Never underestimate the power of good documentation. Daniel pulled out the laptop and powered it on. Everything's backed up here. Financial transactions, recorded phone calls, video footage from security cameras I hacked. 5 years of evidence against not just Caldwell, but his entire network. He clicked through folders and watched names and faces appear. Politicians, judges, police chiefs, CEOs, all of them dirty, all of them connected. This is bigger than I thought, she said. It's bigger than anyone thought. Caldwell's operation spans 3 states and involves hundreds of people. Daniel's face was grim. The trafficking alone, God, the trafficking, the worst part. Young women brought in from overseas, promised jobs, given nightmares instead. Now thought of the photos she'd seen in Caldwell's desk, the young faces, the fear in their eyes. How do we stop it? We already started. That article you had published, it's going to force everyone's hand. FBI will have to investigate, even with Webb dirty. Too much public attention now. He closed the laptop. But we need to get this evidence to someone clean. Someone outside Caldwell's reach. Who? I know a prosecutor, federal level, based in D.C. She tried to build a case against Caldwell 2 years ago, but couldn't get enough evidence. She'll know what to do with this. Na's phone rang. Sarah Chen again. Nah, where are you? The journalist's voice was tight. Brooklyn, why? Because Caldwell just held a press conference. He's calling the article fake news, claiming you're a disgruntled employee who stole confidential files. And Webb, she paused. Webb just announced you're wanted for questioning in connection with Daniel Ross's kidnapping. Na's world tilted. What? They're spinning it, saying you kidnapped Ross from protective custody and are holding him for ransom. Every cop in the city is looking for you. Daniel grabbed the phone from her hand. Chen, this is Daniel Ross. I need you to publish something for me, right now. Mr. Ross, you're alive. Obviously, and I wasn't kidnapped by Na Walker. I was held prisoner by Edward Caldwell for 83 days. I need you to publish that, with my name attached. That's huge. Can you come in? Go on camera. Not yet, too risky, but publish it, now, before they control the narrative completely. I need proof, something to verify it's really you. Daniel rattled off a series of details, case numbers, dates, names that only the real Daniel Ross would know. Na heard Sarah typing furiously on the other end. Okay, I believe you. Give me 15 minutes. Daniel hung up and handed the phone back to Na. We need to move. If every cop in the city is looking for you, this storage unit is a death trap. Where do we go? I have a place, safe house I set up years ago. Caldwell doesn't know about it. He grabbed 2 of the filing boxes. Help me load these in the car. They worked quickly transferring boxes and the laptop into Na's trunk. As they finished, headlights swept across the parking lot. A police cruiser. Get in the car, Daniel said quietly. Don't run. Don't look suspicious. Just get in and drive normally. Na slid into the driver's seat, her hands shaking. Daniel got in beside her. She started the engine and pulled out of the parking spot, keeping her speed steady. The cruiser followed. He's running our plates, Daniel said. What do we do? Keep driving. We're 2 blocks from the safe house. If we can make it. The cruiser's lights flashed on. Siren wailed. Damn it. Daniel's jaw clenched. Pull over. Are you insane? Pull over. I'll handle this. Na pulled to the curb, her heart in her throat. In the rearview mirror, she watched the officer get out of his car. Young, maybe 25. Hand on his weapon. He approached the driver's side window. Na rolled it down. Officer, is there a problem? License and registration. His eyes flicked to Daniel. Both of you, hands where I can see them. Na reached for her purse slowly, pulled out her license, handed it over. The officer's eyes widened. Step out of the vehicle, now, both of you. Officer, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Out now. They got out. The officer radioed for backup, keeping his weapon trained on them. You're Na Walker, wanted for kidnapping and theft. I didn't kidnap anyone. This is Daniel Ross. Edward Caldwell held him prisoner for 3 months. Everything in the news is a lie. Save it for booking. He pulled out handcuffs. Check the news, Daniel said calmly. Right now, New York Tribune. There's an article that went live 5 minutes ago. Read it. The officer hesitated, then pulled out his phone with one hand, weapons still aimed at them with the other. Na watched his face as he read, watched doubt creep in. This is real, he asked finally. Every word, Daniel said. And if you arrest us, you are helping cover up 16 murders and a human trafficking operation. Is that really what you want on your conscience? The officer lowered his weapon slowly. Jesus. Let us go, Na said quietly. Please, we have evidence that can bring down everyone involved, but we need time. He looked between them, young, uncertain, probably a rookie who'd never had to make a call this big. Go, he said finally. I'll say you got away before backup arrived, but you need to surrender to federal authorities, soon, before this gets worse. We will, Daniel promised. Thank you. They got back in the car. Na's hands were shaking so badly she could barely turn the key. Drive, Daniel said softly, before he changes his mind. She drove, 2 blocks, left turn, right turn, into an underground parking garage beneath a building that looked abandoned. Daniel punched in a code, the gate opened. Top level, he directed, all the way to the back. They parked in the darkest corner, carried the boxes to an elevator that required another code, rode up in silence. The safe house was a studio apartment, bare walls, minimum furniture, but it was clean and secure and blessedly empty. Daniel collapsed onto the couch as soon as they were inside. The adrenaline was wearing off, and he looked gray with exhaustion. You need a doctor, Na said. I need sleep. Doctor comes later. He closed his eyes. We'll call the prosecutor in D.C. tomorrow. Hand over everything. Then his phone rang, the one he'd taken from the estate corridor. He looked at the screen and went pale. It's Caldwell. Daniel stared at the phone like it was a venomous snake. Caldwell's name glowed on the screen, each ring drilling into Na's skull like a warning siren. Don't answer it, she whispered. I have to. Daniel's finger hovered over the accept button. If I don't, he'll know we're running scared. We are running scared. He doesn't need to know that. Daniel answered and put it on speaker. Edward, I was wondering when you'd call. Daniel. Caldwell's voice was smooth as silk, calm, which somehow made it more terrifying. I have to admit I'm impressed. 83 days in chains and you still had enough fight left to escape. With help, of course. Of course. Ms. Walker has been very busy tonight, stealing confidential files, contacting journalists, breaking and entering. A pause. Kidnapping. Funny definition of kidnapping. I seem to recall you're the one who had me chained in your basement. A misunderstanding, one I'm prepared to clear up publicly if you just return what belongs to me. Daniel's jaw clenched. The evidence doesn't belong to you. No, it belongs to a lot of very powerful people who are extremely unhappy right now. People who thought certain indiscretions would remain private. Caldwell's tone shifted, hardening. You've made enemies tonight, Daniel. More than you can count. More than you can survive. Is that a threat? It's a fact, but I'm a reasonable man. I'm offering you a deal. One time only. Na grabbed Daniel's arm, shaking her head violently. Don't listen. Don't engage. But he gently pulled away. I'm listening, he said. Bring me the evidence, all of it. Every file, every recording, every scrap of paper. Do that and I'll make the charges against Ms. Walker disappear. She can go back to her quiet life. You can leave the country with enough money to start fresh somewhere warm. Everyone wins. Except the 16 people you murdered, and the women you trafficked, and everyone else you've destroyed. Collateral damage in a complex operation, regrettable but necessary. Caldwell sighed. You know how the world works, Daniel. You were part of it for years. The powerful make the rules, the rest adapt or die. And what happens if I say no? Then Ms. Walker becomes a fugitive. Every law enforcement agency in 3 states will be hunting her. She'll spend the rest of her life looking over her shoulder, waiting for the knock on the door. And you, his voice dropped lower, you'll wish I'd killed you in that basement when I had the chance. Charming sales pitch. You should have been in advertising. You have until sunrise, 6 hours. After that, the deal expires and things get messy. Caldwell hung up. Daniel threw the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. 6 hours, Na said. What do? We don't take his deal. That's for damn sure. Daniel stood and started pacing, wincing with each step. He's panicking. The article hit harder than he expected. He needs that evidence gone before federal prosecutors get involved. They already are involved. Webb. Webb is one dirty agent. There are others, good ones Caldwell can't control. He pulled out the laptop and opened it. We need to contact the prosecutor in D.C. tonight. Get this evidence into the right hands before sunrise. You said her name was Jennifer Hayward, Assistant U.S. Attorney, Eastern District. His fingers flew across the keyboard. I have her direct number somewhere in here. Na's own phone buzzed and text from Sarah Chen. Update: Webb just resigned, effective immediately. Sources say he's lawyering up. Webb resigned, Na said aloud. Daniel looked up. He what? Just now he's getting a lawyer. A slow smile spread across Daniel's face. The rats are jumping ship. Caldwell's losing control of the narrative, which makes him more dangerous. True. Daniel found what he was looking for. Got it. Hayward's number. He glanced at the clock. 11:47 p.m. She's not going to be happy about a midnight call. Neither was I when I found you in that basement. Make the call. He dialed. It rang 6 times before a woman answered, voice thick with sleep. This better be life or death. Jennifer Hayward. Who's asking? Daniel Ross. Silence. Then she was wide awake. The Daniel Ross who disappeared 3 months ago. That Daniel Ross, the same. How do I know this isn't some kind of prank? Daniel rattled off case details, names, dates, the same verification he'd given Sarah Chen. Hayward listened without interrupting. Where are you? She asked finally. Brooklyn. Safe house. Safe houses aren't safe when half the NYPD is looking for you, and they are looking Daniel. I've been getting calls all night. I have evidence. Everything you tried to get 2 years ago on the Caldwell case and more. Financial records, recorded conversations, video footage, proof of 16 murders and an international trafficking ring. He heard her sharp intake of breath. You're serious. Completely. But I need federal protection. For me and for Na Walker. The woman the media is calling my kidnapper. The housekeeper. She saved my life. Risked everything to get me out. And now Caldwell's trying to destroy her. I need to verify this. I need to see the evidence. Then get on a train to New York. I'll meet you at Penn Station at 6 a.m. Bring marshals. Bring protection. Because Caldwell's not going down without a fight. Another pause. Na could almost hear the prosecutor weighing options, calculating risks. 6 a.m. Penn Station, main concourse. Hayward's voice was all business now. If this is real, Daniel, it's the case of the decade. But if you're wasting my time, I'm not. I promise you I'm not. See you in 6 hours. She hung up. Daniel set the phone down and looked at Na. We made it. We just have to survive until 6 a.m. That's 6 hours. Caldwell has to find us. 6 hours for things to go wrong. Then we don't sleep. We stay alert. And we prepare for the worst. Na moved to the window and looked out at the Brooklyn skyline. Somewhere out there, Caldwell was mobilizing resources, calling in favors, maybe hiring people to hunt them down. Tell me about the trafficking, she said quietly. Tell me what we're really stopping here. Daniel joined her at the window. You saw the photos in Caldwell's desk. Young women, scared. I couldn't stop thinking about them. They're brought in through shipping containers, promised legitimate jobs, nannies, housekeepers, hospitality workers. Instead, they're sold to the highest bidder, domestic servitude, forced labor, sometimes worse. Na's stomach turned. How many? Hundreds. Over the years, hundreds. Maybe more. His reflection in the glass looked haunted. I was part of it. Not directly, but I facilitated shipments, laundered money, looked the other way when questions needed to not be asked. Why did you decide to get out? Because I met one of them. A girl, 17 years old, from the Philippines. She'd been promised a job at a hotel, ended up locked in a basement not unlike the one you found me in. He swallowed hard. She looked at me like I could save her, like I had that power. And I realized I did have that power. I just hadn't been using it. What happened to her? I got her out, got her to a shelter, made sure she had protection. And then I started documenting everything. Every transaction, every name, every crime. I knew eventually Caldwell would figure out what I was doing, but I didn't care. I just needed enough evidence to bring the whole system down. And then he caught you. And then he caught me. Daniel turned away from the window. But he didn't catch the evidence. That's the part he can't stomach. All his power, all his money, and he still can't find what he needs. Na's phone buzzed again. This time it was a phone call. Unknown number. She showed Daniel. He nodded. Hello, Na Walker. A man's voice, deep, unfamiliar. Who is this? Someone who wants to help you. My name is Victor Reeves. I work for Edward Caldwell. Her blood went cold. How did you get this number? That's not important. What's important is that you're in danger, serious danger, and I can get you out of it. I don't need help from anyone who works for Caldwell. Please, just listen. I know what happened tonight. I know you took Ross from the estate. I know you have evidence. He lowered his voice. I also know Caldwell just hired 3 contractors to eliminate you both before sunrise. Daniel grabbed the phone from her hand. Who are these contractors? Professional, expensive, the kind who don't leave witnesses. Victor's breathing was heavy. I've worked for Caldwell for 8 years. I've done things I'm not proud of. But murder, that's a line I won't cross, especially not when the targets are trying to expose what he's done. Why should we trust you? Because I'm the one who gave those files to Caldwell in the first place. The ones about the disappearances. I was his head of security. I covered up those crimes, helped make those bodies disappear. His voice cracked. I'm going to hell for what I've done. But maybe I can buy back a piece of my soul by keeping you two alive. Na snatched the phone back. Where are these contractors now? Heading to Brooklyn. Caldwell knows about the storage unit, knows about the safe house. How? Because he's had Ross under surveillance for 2 years. He knows about all of his properties, all of his hiding spots. The only reason you made it this far is because they didn't expect you to move this fast. Daniel's face went white. How long do we have? Maybe an hour, maybe less. You need to move. Now. Where do we go? I'll send you an address. It's a location Caldwell doesn't know about. My backup plan in case things went sideways. A pause. I'll meet you there. Bring the evidence. I'll help you get it to the feds safely. This could be a trap, Na said. It could be Wesen, but you don't have a lot of options right now. Those contractors will find you. And when they do, having evidence won't matter because you'll be dead. The line went dead. Na looked at Daniel. Do we trust him? Do we have a choice? Her phone pinged. Text message. An address in Queens. We need to move, Daniel said, already grabbing the laptop and files. If he's telling the truth, we've got maybe 45 minutes. They loaded everything back into Na's car. Her hands were shaking so badly she dropped the keys twice. Finally got them in the ignition. Wait, Daniel put his hand over hers. If this is a trap, if we're driving into an ambush, I want you to know something. Don't do the goodbye speech. I'm serious. If something happens to me, you run. You take the evidence and you run. Get it to Hayward. Finish what we started. Nothing's going to happen. Promise me. Nah. She looked at him. This man she'd known for less than 48 hours. This man who'd been part of a criminal empire but was trying to tear it down. This man who somehow trusted her with his life. I promise. They drove out of the parking garage and into the night. Queens was a 30-minute drive under normal circumstances. Tonight, with every cop in the city potentially looking for them, it felt like a lifetime. Na took side streets, avoided major intersections, kept checking her mirrors for tails. Tell me about your sister, Daniel said suddenly. What? You mentioned her earlier, your sister in Ohio. Tell me about her. Why? Because I need to think about something other than the fact that we might die in the next hour. So talk. Tell me about your family. Na kept her eyes on the road. Her name is Lisa. She's 3 years older than me, has 2 kids, works at a grocery store making just enough to get by. You send her money. When I can. Their dad left when the youngest was 2. She's struggling. Is that why you took the job at Caldwell's estate, the pay? That was part of it, but also, she paused. I needed to feel useful. My whole life I've been cleaning up other people's messes, literal and figurative. I thought maybe if I worked somewhere nice, somewhere respectable, I could be proud of what I did. And instead you found a crime scene masquerading as a mansion. Pretty much. She turned onto a quieter street. What about you? Any family? Parents are dead, no siblings, no wife or kids. I put everything into the business. Caldwell's business. His jaw tightened. Turns out that was a mistake. At least you're trying to fix it. Trying and succeeding are different things. They drove in silence for another 10 minutes. Na's phone GPS guided them to a neighborhood she didn't recognize. Industrial, abandoned warehouses and shuttered factories. This doesn't look right, she said. None of this looks right, but we're out of options. The address led them to a brick building with boarded windows. No lights, no signs of life. I don't like this, Na said. Neither do I. Daniel pulled out a gun from under his jacket. Where did you get that? Took it from Caldwell's study when you weren't looking. Had it tucked in my waistband this whole time. You've been carrying a gun and didn't tell me. I was saving it for emergencies. This qualifies. They got out of the car slowly. Na grabbed the laptop. Daniel took the files. The building's front door was unlocked. It swung open with a creak that made Na's skin crawl. Inside was darkness. Complete darkness. Hello, Daniel called out. A light flickered on in the back. Then footsteps. A man emerged from the shadows. 50s, gray hair, expensive suit despite the late hour. Mr. Ross, Miss Walker. He extended his hand. Victor Reeves. Neither of them shook it. Forgive the location. I needed somewhere Caldwell wouldn't think to look. How do we know you're not setting us up? Na demanded. You don't, but if I wanted you dead, I would have just told the contractors where you were instead of warning you. He gestured to a table. Please, sit. We don't have much time. They sat, but Daniel kept the gun visible, a reminder that trust went both ways. I've been documenting Caldwell's operation for the past 6 months, Victor said, ever since he ordered the death of Rachel Torres. Na's breath caught. You knew her. I was the one who found her body. Caldwell had her killed because she saw something she shouldn't have, just like he's trying to kill you now. Victor pulled out his own laptop. I have security footage, financial records, everything you need to corroborate what's in Ross's files. Why would you betray him? Daniel asked. After 8 years. Because I have a daughter. Victor's voice broke slightly. She's 16, same age as some of the girls in those shipping containers. And one day I looked at her and realized, what if it was her? What if someone treated my daughter the way Caldwell treats those girls? He shook his head. I couldn't live with myself anymore. He opened his laptop and turned it around. Video footage filled the screen. Caldwell meeting with known traffickers. Money changing hands. Young women being loaded into trucks. This is from last month, Victor said. Caldwell's gotten sloppy, confident. He thinks he's untouchable. He's not, Daniel said. Not anymore. No, but he'll fight to the end, and he'll take as many people down with him as he can. Victor looked at Na, including you. He's put a $2 million bounty on your head. Private contractors, former military, people who kill for a living. Na's world tilted. 2 million on. He wants you dead more than he wants the evidence back. Because you're the witness. You saw him, saw Ross in chains. You can testify. So can Daniel. Daniel's a criminal. His testimony is tainted, but you, Victor leaned forward, you're an innocent bystander who stumbled into hell and chose to do the right thing. That's powerful. That's dangerous to Caldwell. Then what do? You disappear, take the evidence, get it to the feds, let them handle Caldwell, and then you vanish. New name, new life, never look back. That's not fair. Fair doesn't exist in this world, only survival. Daniel's phone buzzed. He looked at it and his face went pale. What? Na asked. Text from an unknown number. He showed her the screen. We know where you are. You have 5 minutes. Run. Victor stood abruptly. We need to leave now. Who sent that? Na demanded. Doesn't matter. If they know you're here, we're all dead. He grabbed his laptop. There's a back exit. My car's parked there. We can... The front window exploded inward. Glass rained down as 3 figures in tactical gear crashed through. Na screamed. Daniel fired twice the gunshots, deafening in the enclosed space. One of the figures went down. The other 2 returned fire. Victor shoved Na toward the back of the building. Go! I'll hold them off. You can't. Go! Daniel grabbed her arm and pulled her through a doorway. Behind them, more gunshots, Victor's voice shouting. Then silence. They ran through a dark corridor, Na's heart hammering so hard she thought it might explode. Daniel was limping badly now, his injuries catching up to him. A door ahead, exit sign glowing red. They burst through it into an alley. Victor's car was there just like he'd said. Keys in the ignition. "Get in," Daniel shouted. Na jumped into the driver's seat. Daniel collapsed into the passenger side. She started the engine and floored it. Gunshots behind them. Bullets pinged off the car's metal. She swerved onto the main road, tires screaming. In the rearview mirror, she saw two figures emerge from the building. Running, chasing. "They've got a vehicle," Daniel yelled. Headlights appeared behind them. Fast. Gaining. Na pushed the car harder. 60, 70, 80 miles an hour through residential streets. "Take the next left," Daniel said. She yanked the wheel. The car fishtailed but held. The pursuing vehicle followed. "We can't outrun them," Na said. "We don't have to outrun them. We just have to survive until 6 a.m. He checked his watch. 4 hours. 4 hours and we meet Hayward. "We'll never make it." "We will. We have to." The pursuing car rammed them from behind. Na's head snapped forward, then back. She gripped the wheel tighter. Another ram. Harder this time. "They're trying to spin us out," Daniel said. "Don't let them get beside you. If they pull parallel, they'll shoot through the window." "Great. Any other helpful tips?" "Yeah, drive faster." She did. 90, 95. The engine roared. They blew through a red light. Horns blared. Someone swerved to avoid them. The pursuing car stayed right on their tail. "There," Daniel pointed ahead. "Highway entrance. Get on it." More room to maneuver. Na took the ramp at 70 miles an hour. The car shuddered but held. On the highway, she opened it up. 100, 110. The speedometer climbed. The pursuing car matched them. "These aren't ordinary contractors," Daniel said grimly. "These are professionals. Former special forces, probably. They won't stop until we're dead." "Then we don't stop moving." "Where are we going?" "Penn Station. We meet Hayward early. Get federal protection. These guys won't risk attacking us in front of witnesses and cameras. Penn Station's in Manhattan. That's 20 minutes away. Then we stay alive for 20 minutes. The pursuing car pulled alongside them. Passenger window rolled down. Gun barrel visible. "Down," Daniel screamed. Na ducked as bullets shattered the passenger window. Glass exploded inward. The car swerved. She fought for control, jerking the wheel hard right. Their car slammed into the pursuing vehicle, metal grinding against metal. Both cars careened toward the guardrail. Na pulled left at the last second. The pursuing car wasn't as lucky. It hit the rail, spun flipped. She didn't slow down to watch. "Is Victor's evidence in the car?" she gasped. "Back seat, the laptop." Thank God, they still had something to give Hayward. "Daniel, you're bleeding." Blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead. Glass from the shattered window. "I'm fine, just keep driving." But he wasn't fine. His breathing was labored. His skin was pale. "Stay with me," Na said. "Don't you dare die after everything we've been through." Not planning on it, the Manhattan skyline appeared ahead. Never had Na been so happy to see the city. She took the exit for Penn Station, 5 a.m., 1 hour early, but better early than dead. The parking garage was mostly empty. She pulled into a spot on the 3rd level and killed the engine. For a moment, neither of them moved, just sat there breathing. Alive. "We made it," Na whispered. "Don't jinx it. We're not safe yet." They got out of the car. Daniel grabbed Victor's laptop. Na took her own bag with the remaining files. As they walked toward the elevator, footsteps echoed from behind. They both spun. A figure emerged from the shadows. Female. 30s. Sharp suit. FBI badge held high. "Daniel Ross and Na Walker. I'm Special Agent Jennifer Hayward." She looked them over, taking in the blood, the broken glass, the pure exhaustion. "You two look like hell." "Feel like it too," Daniel said. "I came early. Good thing too." She gestured behind her. 2 U.S. Marshals stepped forward. "These gentlemen will keep you safe while we go somewhere secure to review your evidence." "How did you know to come early?" Na asked. "Because I got a call 20 minutes ago from Victor Reeves. He told me you'd been ambushed and we're heading here." Hayward's expression softened slightly. He also told me he'd been shot and probably wouldn't make it, but he wanted to make sure you did. Na's eyes burned. Victor, a man she'd known for less than an hour, dead because he'd tried to help them. Did he? She couldn't finish. He didn't make it. I'm sorry, but his final act was protecting you. Hayward straightened. Now let's make sure his sacrifice wasn't in vain. Show me what you've got. They followed Hayward and the marshals through Penn Station's underground corridors. Even at 5 a.m., there were people commuters catching early trains homeless, sleeping on benches, cleaning crews, pushing mops across marble floors. Normal people living normal lives while Na's entire world had exploded. Hayward led them to a service elevator that required a key card. They descended 3 levels below the station into a space Na didn't know existed. Federal Secure Facility, Hayward explained, built after 9/11. We use it for high-value witnesses. The elevator opened into a sterile hallway. Fluorescent lights, concrete walls, heavy doors with electronic locks. Hayward swiped her card and one of the doors clicked open. Inside was a conference room. Table, chairs, recording equipment mounted on the walls. Sit, she said. We'll get medical in here to look at those cuts. But first, show me what you have. Daniel set Victor's laptop on the table and opened it. Na added the files they'd grabbed from the storage unit. Hayward spent the next 20 minutes scrolling through documents, watching videos, reading financial records. Her expression remained neutral, professional, but Na saw her jaw tighten more than once. Finally, she looked up. This is extensive. More than extensive. This is a prosecutor's dream. She focused on Daniel. You documented everything. 5 years of criminal activity. I had time, Daniel said, and motivation. The trafficking footage alone is enough to put Caldwell away for life. Add the murders, the corruption, the money laundering. She shook her head. He's done. They're all done. Webb, Na asked, already in custody. Turned himself in 2 hours ago. He's negotiating a plea deal as we speak. He'll testify. If his lawyer's smart, yes, Webb's looking at 20 years minimum. He cooperates, maybe he gets 10. Hayward closed the laptop. But I need statements from both of you, on record. Everything that happened, start to finish. A medic arrived and started cleaning Daniel's head wound while he talked. He recounted the kidnapping, the 83 days in Caldwell's basement, the torture, the threats. His voice was steady, clinical, like he was describing someone else's nightmare. When it was Na's turn, she found it harder to stay detached. Her voice cracked when she described finding Daniel, shook when she talked about Mrs. Henderson's gun, broke completely when she mentioned Victor. He didn't have to help us, she said. He could have stayed quiet, saved himself. People surprise you, Hayward said quietly. Sometimes in the worst ways, sometimes in the best. She paused the recording. I need to ask you something, Na, and I need you to be honest. Okay. Did you take anything from Caldwell's estate besides those files, money valuables? Anything that could be used to discredit your testimony? Na thought of the envelope Mrs. Henderson had given her, the cash still sitting in her car. There's money in my car. Mrs. Henderson gave it to me, said it was my salary for the new position. How much? I don't know. I didn't count it. Maybe 10, 15,000. Hayward's expression tightened. That's a problem. Caldwell's lawyers will argue you were paid off, that you stole files and fabricated evidence for profit. I didn't fabricate anything. I know that, but juries are unpredictable. We need to eliminate any doubt about your motives. She stood. One of my people will retrieve that money from your car. We'll document it, photograph it, enter it into evidence. Show that you reported it voluntarily. Will that be enough? It'll help, but nah. Hayward leaned forward, her eyes intense. You need to prepare yourself for what comes next. This case is going to be national news. Your face will be everywhere. Caldwell's lawyers will dig into every aspect of your life looking for dirt. Your finances, your relationships, your past. They'll try to destroy your credibility any way they can. I don't have anything to hide. Everyone has something. The question is whether you can live with it being public. Hayward's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and her expression changed. We've got a situation. What kind of situation? Caldwell just held another press conference. He's claiming you and Ross murdered Victor Reeves and are framing him for crimes you committed. She turned her phone around. The screen showed Caldwell standing in front of his estate, reporters crowding around him. He looked devastated, grief-stricken, the perfect victim. Victor Reeves was a loyal employee and dear friend, Caldwell was saying. His death is a tragedy, and I will not rest until his killers are brought to justice. Na felt sick. He's lying. Those contractors he hired killed Victor. I know, but he's spinning it masterfully. Hayward replayed the footage. Look at the staging, the lighting, the way he's positioned himself. This isn't amateur hour. He's got a PR team working overtime. Can you prove he's lying? Eventually, but it'll take time. And in the meantime, public opinion will swing his way. She closed the phone. The contractors who attacked you, did you get a look at their faces? They were wearing masks, Daniel said. Tactical gear, professional setup. The one who crashed on the highway, did he survive? I don't know. We didn't stop to check. Hayward made a call, spoke in clipped tones to whoever was on the other end. When she hung up, her expression was grim. The car was empty when police arrived. Blood on the seats, but no bodies. Either they walked away or someone picked them up. Meaning they're still out there, Na said. Meaning Caldwell still has assets in play. Hayward stood, which is why you're both staying here until we can arrange proper witness protection. No exceptions. For how long, Daniel asked. As long as it takes. Could be days, could be weeks. We need to build an airtight case before we move forward with arrests. Weeks. Na's stomach dropped. I can't just disappear for weeks. My sister, she'll worry. My landlord. We'll handle notifications. Your sister will be told you're safe but can't be contacted. Your rent will be paid from a federal fund. Hayward's tone softened. I know this isn't easy, but it's necessary. Caldwell's proven he's willing to kill to protect himself. I won't give him another shot at you. A knock on the door interrupted them. One of the marshals stuck his head in. Ma'am, we've got a problem at the perimeter. Hayward's hand went to her weapon. What kind of problem? Reporter, Sarah Chen from the Tribune. She's demanding to speak with Na Walker. Says she has information about an imminent threat. Na's blood went cold. Let her in. That's not protocol, Hayward started. She helped us. She published the story that exposed Caldwell. If she says there's a threat, we need to listen. Hayward considered this for a moment, then nodded to the marshal. Bring her in, but search her first. 2 minutes later, Sarah Chen entered the room. She looked exhausted, her normally perfect hair, a disheveled makeup, smudged, but her eyes were sharp. Nah, thank God you're alive. She set her bag on the table. I've been trying to reach you for hours. My phone died. What's the threat? Sarah pulled out her laptop. I've been monitoring Caldwell's communications. He doesn't know I have access to his private server. Long story, it involves a source I can't name. But 20 minutes ago, he sent an encrypted message to someone in law enforcement. Who? I don't know yet. The encryption's good, but I got enough to know he's planning something for 6 a.m. She checked her watch, which is in 40 minutes. Planning what? Hayward demanded. I think he's going to stage an attack. Make it look like you were killed by Ross. Frame him for your murder now. Then kill him and claim self-defense. The room went silent. Daniel spoke first. That's insane. We're in federal custody. He can't just... Can't he? Sarah interrupted. He's got cops on his payroll, maybe even feds. What if someone on Hayward's team is dirty? Everyone in the room looked at each other. Suspicion poisoned the air. My team is clean, Hayward said, but there was uncertainty in her voice. Are you sure, 100% sure? Sarah pulled up another screen. Because I've been tracking financial records all night, and one of the marshals assigned to this case just received a wire transfer, $50,000, from a shell company connected to Caldwell. Which marshal? Hayward's voice was ice. I don't have a name, just a badge number. Sarah read it off. Hayward's face went white. She pulled out her phone and made a call. I need an immediate audit of badge number 7743. Now, a pause. I don't care if it's 6 a.m. Do it now. She hung up and looked at the two marshals who'd escorted them in. Which one of you is 7743? Neither answered. I said, which one of you is 7743? The younger marshal on the left shifted his weight. His hand moved toward his weapon. Don't, Hayward said quietly. Her own gun was already drawn. Don't make this worse. I don't know what she's talking about, the marshal said. But his voice was wrong, too defensive. Badge, now. He handed it over slowly. Hayward checked the number. 7743. You son of a bitch. She turned to the other marshal. Cuff him. Ma'am, I can explain. Explain an interrogation. Hayward's voice was pure fury. How long have you been on Caldwell's payroll? 6 months. I needed the money. My kids' medical bills. I don't care about your excuses. You just committed treason against the United States government. She looked at the other marshal. Get him out of my sight and bring me 2 new people, ones I know personally. As the corrupt marshal was led away, Na felt her legs give out. She sank into a chair. They'd been compromised. Even here in a federal facility, Caldwell had reach. We need to move you, Hayward said. Different location, somewhere even I don't know about until we get there. Where? Daniel asked. Trust me, that's all I can tell you. Sarah stood. I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. You're a civilian. I'm a witness, and I've got information you need. Sarah's jaw set stubbornly. Plus, if I'm out there alone, Caldwell will come after me too. I'm safer with you than without you. Hayward looked like she wanted to argue but didn't have time. Fine, but you follow orders. No heroics, no journalism. You're a witness, nothing more. Agreed. They moved quickly through the quarters, Hayward leading with her weapon drawn. Every shadow made Na's heart race. Every sound could be an ambush. They reached a different elevator. This one went up instead of down. It opened into a parking garage Na didn't recognize. A black SUV waited with tinted windows and government plates. Everyone in, Hayward ordered. They piled into the vehicle. Hayward took the wheel. As they pulled out of the garage, Na looked back at Penn Station receding behind them. Where are we going? She asked again. Safe house in Connecticut. 2 hours away. Off the books. Only 3 people in the bureau know about it. And you trust in all 3. I trust 2 of them. The third is me. Hayward merged onto the highway. We'll hole up there until I can coordinate with DC, get more resources, more people I can verify. The drive was tense, silent except for the hum of tires on asphalt. Na watched the sun rise over New York, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Beautiful, peaceful, nothing like the chaos of the last 48 hours. Her phone buzzed. She'd plugged it in to charge in the SUV, text from an unknown number. You can't hide forever. Caldwell knows people everywhere, even in Connecticut. She showed it to Hayward without a word. The prosecutor's jaw clenched. He's bluffing, trying to scare you. It's working. They drove for another hour in silence. Then Hayward's phone rang. She answered it on Bluetooth. Hayward? Jennifer, it's Director Morrison. A man's voice filled the SUV, deep, authoritative. Where are you, Pickman? Relocating witnesses to a secure location. Which location? Hayward hesitated. With respect, sir, I'd prefer to keep that information restricted. Jennifer, I'm the director of the FBI. You work for me. Tell me where you are. Sir, we just discovered a compromised marshal on my detail. Until I know the full extent of the breach, I'm ordering you to disclose your location. Now. Something in his tone made Na's skin crawl. Too insistent, yet too aggressive. Hayward must have felt it too because she said, I'll file a full report when we arrive at our destination. Hayward out. She disconnected the call. That was your boss, Sarah said. You just hung up on your boss. That wasn't my boss. Hayward's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Director Morrison is in Brussels at an international conference. I watched him give a speech there on live TV 3 hours ago. Then who was that? Someone pretending to be him. Someone trying to get our location. She pressed the accelerator. The SUVs surged forward. We're burned. They know we're on the move. How? Probably tracking the vehicle. Or my phone. Or, she swore viciously. Everyone check your phones. Look for any apps you didn't install. Anything unfamiliar. Na scrolled through her phone. Everything looked normal until she reached a settings menu she rarely checked. There was an app she didn't recognize. Something called System Update. I've got something, she said. Delete it now and pull the battery if you can. Na tried to delete the app, but it wouldn't let her. Protected by administrator permissions she'd never granted. It won't delete. Throw the phone out the window. What? Throw it out the window. They're tracking us through it. Na rolled down the window and threw her phone onto the highway. It shattered against the pavement. Everyone else, Check your phones. If you find anything suspicious, same thing. Sarah found a similar app. Her phone went out the window. Daniel's was clean, but he tossed it anyway. Better safe than tracked. Hayward kept driving, taking random exits, doubling back, making it impossible to follow a predictable route. But Na could see the tension in her shoulders. They were being hunted, and their hunters were closing in. There's a rest stop ahead, Hayward said. We'll ditch this vehicle. Get something else. How? There are protocols for this, emergency procedures. She pulled off at the exit. The rest stop was nearly empty. A few long-haul truckers getting coffee. One family with sleepy kids. Hayward parked and made a call from a burner phone she pulled from the glove compartment. Spoke in code, hung up. 20 minutes. Someone's bringing us a clean vehicle. She looked at each of them. Until then, we blend in, look normal. Don't draw attention. They went inside, bought coffee they didn't drink. Na stood by the window watching cars pass on the highway. Any one of them could be Caldwell's people. Daniel stood beside her. You doing okay? I found a man in chains 2 days ago. Now I'm running for my life from a billionaire who wants me dead. So no, I'm not doing okay. Fair enough. How are you this calm? I'm not. I'm terrified. He took a sip of coffee. But I've learned that panic doesn't help. So I compartmentalize, focus on the next step, survive the next hour, then worry about the hour after that. How long can we keep this up? As long as we have to. A black sedan pulled into the rest stop, flashed its lights twice. That's our ride, Hayward said. Let's move. They transferred to the sedan. The driver was a woman in her 40s, FBI jacket, badge displayed prominently. Agent Hayward, good to see you. She didn't ask questions, just drove. They headed north on back roads, avoiding highways, through small towns, still waking up, past farms and forests. Na's exhaustion was catching up with her. She hadn't slept in over 30 hours. Her eyes kept drifting closed despite the adrenaline. Sleep if you can, Hayward said. We've got another hour to go. Na tried, but every time she closed her eyes, she saw Victor's face. Heard Mrs. Henderson's warning. Felt the gun pointed at her head. Her eyes snapped open. Can't sleep, Daniel asked quietly. Every time I close my eyes, I see people who died because of me. They didn't die because of you. They died because of Caldwell. If I hadn't gone into that basement, Victor would still be covering up crimes. Mrs. Henderson would still be complicit. Those women would still be in shipping containers. He looked at her. You did the right thing, the hard thing. Don't let guilt make you question that. The safe house was a cabin in the woods, small, isolated, no neighbors for miles. This'll work, Hayward said as they pulled up. No electronic signature. Utilities are under a fake name. We'll be safe here while I coordinate next steps. They went inside. The cabin was basic but functional. 2 bedrooms, small kitchen, living room with a wood-burning stove. Hayward immediately set up her laptop and started making secure calls. Sarah collapsed on the couch. Daniel checked the windows, the doors, the sight lines, old habits from his criminal days. Na just stood in the middle of the living room, feeling lost. Bathroom's through there if you want to clean up, Hayward said without looking up from her laptop. Na went into the bathroom and stared at herself in the mirror. She barely recognized the woman looking back. Bruised, bloody, exhausted. When had she last eaten? Yesterday, the day before, she washed her face with cold water and tried to make herself presentable. Failed. When she came out, Daniel was cooking something in the kitchen. The smell made her stomach growl. Scrambled eggs, he said, and toast. It's not much, but it's food. They ate in silence. The normalcy of it felt surreal, like they were just people having breakfast instead of fugitives hiding from killers. Hayward finished her calls and joined them. Okay, here's where we stand. Federal prosecutors in D.C. are convening an emergency grand jury. With the evidence you provided, they're confident they can secure indictments against Caldwell, his entire network, and everyone involved. How long will that take? Sarah asked. 48 hours for the indictments. Then arrests will happen simultaneously. They want to grab everyone at once so nobody has time to run or destroy evidence. 48 hours, Na repeated. We have to hide for 48 hours. And after that, you'll be the star witnesses in the biggest corruption trial in a decade. Hayward looked at her seriously. Your life will never be the same. Na, you understand that I stopped having a normal life the second I walked into that basement. I mean it. After this trial, you'll need witness protection. New identity, new city. You'll have to leave everything behind. Everyone. Na thought of her sister, her nephews, the small life she'd built in Queens. Can I at least say goodbye? Eventually, when it's safe, but not yet. Hayward's expression softened. I'm sorry, I know it's not fair. Nothing about any of this was fair, but Na was done expecting fairness from the world. What about Daniel? Same deal. New identity, fresh start. Daniel nodded like he'd expected this. I've been running from my past for years anyway. Might as well make it official. The day passed slowly. Hayward worked on her laptop. Sarah wrote notes for a follow-up article. Daniel paced like a caged animal. Na tried to rest but couldn't. Her mind kept replaying everything. The basement, the chase. Victor's final call. At 7 p.m. Hayward's phone rang. Her expression changed as she listened. When how many? A pause. Understood. We'll be ready. She hung up and looked at them. Caldwell's been arrested. Federal agents hit his estate an hour ago. He's in custody. Relief washed over Na so intensely she felt dizzy. Is it over? She asked. Not yet. They're still rounding up his associates, but the immediate threat is contained. Hayward allowed herself a small smile. You did it. You brought down one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the country. We did it, Na corrected. All of us. They spent the night in the safe house. For the first time in days, Na felt safe enough to actually sleep. She collapsed into bed and didn't wake up for 12 hours. When she finally emerged the next morning, Hayward had news. Grand jury returned indictments on Caldwell and 43 associates, RICO charges, murder, trafficking, the works. She handed Na a cup of coffee. He's looking at life without parole, maybe multiple life sentences. Good. There's something else. Mrs. Henderson turned herself in. She's cooperating fully, giving testimony about everything she witnessed over 30 years. Na thought of the older woman, the warning she'd given, the gun she could have used but didn't. What'll happen to her? Depends on her cooperation, probably reduced charges, maybe even immunity. Hayward shrugged. She's just a cog in the machine. We want the people at the top. Over the next 2 days, Na gave her formal statement. Hours of questions, every detail documented, every moment accounted for. When it was finally done, Hayward sat across from her. You know what comes next. Witness protection. New name, new background. We'll set you up somewhere far from New York. Give you enough money to start over. Can I choose where? Within reason. Na thought about this. Somewhere warm, somewhere I can see the ocean. That can be arranged. Hayward paused. You're one of the bravest people I've ever met, Na. What you did, most people would have walked away. I tried to. Believe me, I tried. Na smiled sadly. But I couldn't live with myself if I had. The world needs more people like you. The world needs fewer people like Caldwell. On that we agree. 3 days later, Na Walker ceased to exist. In her place was Emma Mitchell, age 34, administrative assistant from Chicago, relocating to Charleston, South Carolina. New name, new papers, new life. She stood on a beach in Charleston, watching the sun set over the Atlantic. The trial was scheduled to start in 6 months. Until then, she had time to figure out who Emma Mitchell was supposed to be. Her phone rang. New phone, new number. Only 3 people had it. Hello? It's me? Daniel's voice. He'd been given his own new identity somewhere else. They weren't supposed to contact each other, but Hayward had bent the rules just this once. How are you? Na asked. Adjusting, you. Same. She watched the waves roll in. It's strange, being someone else. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. Fresh start. Clean slate. Maybe. She paused. Do you think it was worth it? Everything we went through. Caldwell's in prison. His network's destroyed. Hundreds of victims are getting justice. Daniel was quiet for a moment. Yeah, it was worth it. What are you going to do now? I don't know. Something good, I hope. Something that makes up for all the bad I have done. You already did that. Maybe, or maybe I just got started. They talked for a few more minutes before hanging up. Na stood on the beach as darkness fell, thinking about the woman she'd been and the woman she was becoming. Na Walker had been invisible, small, safe. Emma Mitchell had a chance to be something else, something more. She took a deep breath of salt air and started walking back to her new apartment. The trial would come, the testimony would be hard, the memories would haunt her, but she'd survived. And sometimes survival was enough. 6 months passed like a dream Hal couldn't quite wake up from. Emma Mitchell worked at a small law firm in Charleston, filing paperwork and answering phones. She rented a studio apartment 3 blocks from the beach. She had coworkers who invited her to happy hour and neighbors who said hello in the hallway. It was exactly the quiet, normal life she'd wanted before everything exploded, and it felt completely hollow. The trial started on a Tuesday in March, federal courthouse in Manhattan. Emma flew up the night before with 2 U.S. Marshals who never left her side. Hayward met her at the airport. The prosecutor looked different, harder. The months of building this case had aged her. "You ready for this?" Hayward asked as they drove to a hotel under heavy security. "No." "Good. That means you are taking it seriously." She glanced in the rearview mirror, checking for tails out of habit. Caldwell's assembled a dream team, 6 lawyers. Every one of them costs more per hour than most people make in a month. They're going to come at you hard. I'm just telling the truth. The truth is complicated in a courtroom. They'll twist your words, question your motives, make you look like an opportunist who fabricated evidence for money or attention. Hayward's jaw tightened. Don't let them rattle you. Answer the questions directly. Don't elaborate unless asked. And for God's sake, don't lose your temper. That night, couldn't sleep. She kept running through her testimony in her head, anticipating questions, preparing answers. At 3 a.m., she gave up and turned on the television. The news was wall-to-wall coverage of the trial, legal experts analyzing the evidence, talking heads debating Caldwell's guilt, and then a clip that made her blood run cold. Caldwell himself being led into the courthouse for a pretrial hearing. He looked thinner, older, prison orange instead of expensive suits, but when he saw the cameras, he smiled. Not a warm smile, a predator's smile. "I'm innocent," he told the reporters, "and when this trial is over, the real criminals will be exposed." The reporter asked what he meant. "Wait and see," Caldwell said. Then the marshals pushed him forward and the clip ended. Na's phone rang. "Daniel, you watching this?" he asked without preamble. "Unfortunately. He's got something planned, some kind of surprise. Hayward warned me his lawyers would be aggressive. This is more than that. I know Caldwell. I worked for him for 5 years. He doesn't go down without taking everyone else with him." Daniel's voice was tense. "Watch your back tomorrow. Something's coming. You're not helping my anxiety." "Good. Anxious people are careful people." He paused. "I'll be in the courtroom tomorrow. Different identity, different seat, but I'll be there. If anything goes wrong, nothing's going to go wrong. Promise me you'll run if you have to. Don't be a hero." "I thought we established I'm terrible at taking that advice." Despite everything, he laughed. Yeah, we did." The next morning, Na dressed in the outfit Hayward had picked out for her. Conservative, professional, designed to make her look trustworthy. The marshals escorted her through a back entrance to avoid the media circus out front. Even so, she caught glimpses of the crowd. Protesters, supporters, news vans with satellite dishes. The courtroom was massive. High ceilings, dark wood, rows of benches packed with journalists and spectators. And there at the defense table sat Edward Caldwell. He looked up as she entered. Their eyes met for the first time since that night at his estate. His expression was unreadable. But she saw something flicker there. Recognition. And maybe a hint of respect. The judge entered. Everyone stood. The bailiff called the court to order, and the trial began. The prosecution went first. The lead attorney was a man named James Whitmore. Silver hair, booming voice. He laid out the case methodically. Financial records, witness testimony, physical evidence. Then he called his first witness. "The government calls Mrs. Elizabeth Henderson." Na's head snapped up. Mrs. Henderson walked to the stand looking 20 years older than the last time Na had seen her. She was sworn in and sat down, her hands folded in her lap. Whitmore asked her to state her name and occupation. "Elizabeth Henderson. I was the head housekeeper at the Caldwell estate for 30 years. And during those 30 years, what did you observe regarding Mr. Caldwell's activities?" Mrs. Henderson took a deep breath. "Everything. I saw everything." For the next 3 hours, she detailed crimes spanning 3 decades, meetings with criminals, payments to corrupt officials, orders to make problems disappear. And by problems you mean people, Whitmore asked. Yes, people like Rachel Torres. Mrs. Henderson's voice cracked. Yes, Rachel was a good girl. She didn't deserve what happened to her. What did happen to her, Mrs. Henderson? She saw something in the basement. A shipment. Young women. She tried to report it. Mrs. Henderson looked directly at Caldwell. Mr. Caldwell ordered her killed. I watched them carry her body out wrapped in plastic. The courtroom erupted. The judge called for order. Caldwell's lawyers objected. Hearsay, speculation, irrelevant. The judge overruled them. The testimony stood. When it was the defense's turn to cross-examine, Caldwell's lead attorney went straight for the throat. Mrs. Henderson, isn't it true that you're testifying in exchange for immunity from prosecution? Yes. So you have a strong motivation to say whatever the prosecution wants you to say. I'm saying the truth. Are you protecting yourself by blaming your employer for crimes you committed? I committed crimes, and I'm not denying that, but I committed them on his orders. The lawyer circled like a shark. You're 73 years old, Mrs. Henderson. You've spent 30 years as a housekeeper. Do you really expect this jury to believe you were some kind of criminal mastermind? I was a survivor. I did what I had to do to keep my job. Mrs. Henderson's voice strengthened, but I'm done surviving at the expense of my soul. The lawyer tried for another hour to break her story, but Mrs. Henderson held firm. When she finally stepped down, she looked at Na as she passed. Their eyes met. Mrs. Henderson mouthed two words, I'm sorry. Na nodded. Forgiveness wasn't easy, but understanding was. The prosecution called witness after witness, financial experts, FBI agents, former associates who'd taken plea deals. Then on the third day, they called Daniel Ross. He walked to the stand looking nothing like the man Na had found in chains. Clean, healthy, strong. He'd gained weight, the bruises had healed, but his eyes still carried the shadows of what he'd endured. Whitmore walked him through his history with Caldwell, the crimes they'd committed together, the moment Daniel decided to gather evidence. And what happened when Mr. Caldwell discovered your betrayal? Whitmore asked. He had me kidnapped, brought to his estate, chained in a basement for 83 days. Can you describe the conditions of your captivity? Daniel did, in clinical detail. The torture, the starvation, the threats. The jury looked sick. Then Whitmore asked the question everyone had been waiting for. How did you escape? I didn't escape. I was rescued. Daniel looked at Na. By Na Walker, a housekeeper who stumbled onto something she was never supposed to see and chose to help me anyway. And did Ms. Walker kidnap you, as Mr. Caldwell has claimed? No, she saved my life, at great risk to her own. The defense attorney's cross-examination was brutal. He painted Daniel as a career criminal whose testimony couldn't be trusted. A man who'd fabricated evidence to save himself from prosecution. Isn't it true, Mr. Ross, that you were facing RICO charges before you made this deal? Yes. And in exchange for your testimony, those charges were dropped. Reduced, not dropped. So you have every reason to lie about Mr. Caldwell to save yourself. I have every reason to tell the truth. Because I'm done running from what I've done. Daniel leaned forward. I was a criminal. I hurt people. I helped Caldwell build his empire. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to make that right. But lying about him won't accomplish that. The truth will. On the fifth day, the prosecution called Na. She walked to the stand on shaking legs, was sworn in, sat down. The courtroom felt too small and too large at the same time. Hundreds of eyes on her, cameras recording every word. Caldwell watching with that unreadable expression. Whitmore started gently, asked her to describe her background, her job at the estate, the night she found Daniel. She told the story simply, factually, no embellishment needed. And what did you do when you found Mr. Ross? I gave him food and water, and I decided to help him escape. Why? Because it was the right thing to do. Even though it meant risking your life, your job, everything you'd worked for. Why, Ms. Walker? What made you take that risk? I thought about this, about all the reasons and the one that mattered most. Because I was tired of being invisible, tired of watching powerful people hurt others and pretending I didn't see it, tired of surviving by keeping my head down. She looked at Caldwell. Someone had to stand up to him, and I was there, so it had to be me. Whitmore smiled. No further questions. Then came the defense. Caldwell's lawyer was a woman named Patricia Vance. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. She approached Na like a snake approaching prey. Ms. Walker, you testified that you gave Mr. Ross food and water. Yes, but you didn't call the police. No. You didn't call the FBI. No. You didn't call anyone in authority who could have helped him legally. Mr. Ross told me the authorities were compromised, that Caldwell owned them. And you believed him, a man you just met, a known criminal. I verified it. The FBI agent assigned to the case was on Caldwell's payroll. Agent Webb, who has since been arrested. Vance smiled. Convenient timing, don't you think? Objection, Whitmore said. Relevancy. I'm establishing motive, Your Honor. The judge allowed it. Vance continued. Isn't it true, Ms. Walker, that you received $15,000 in cash from Mrs. Henderson? Yes, but I reported it to. Just answer the question. You received $15,000, yes or no? Yes. And isn't it true that you took confidential files from Mr. Caldwell's study? Yes. So you stole from your employer and received payment. That sounds like theft and bribery, Ms. Walker. That's not what happened. No. Then explain to the jury how taking money and stealing files isn't theft and bribery. The money was offered as my salary for a promotion Mr. Caldwell gave me to keep me quiet. I didn't ask for it, and the files were evidence of crimes. I gave them to a journalist to expose the truth, or to sell your story for profit. I haven't made a dime from any of this. Not yet, but I'm sure there's a book deal in your future. Movie rights, perhaps. Objection. Whitmore was on his feet. Counsel is speculating. Sustained, Ms. Vance stick to the facts. But the damage was done. Vance had planted doubt in the jury's minds. She hammered at Na for 3 hours, questioned every decision, every motive, every choice. By the time Na stepped down, she felt wrung out, exhausted, like she'd been the one on trial instead of Caldwell. That night back at the hotel, Hayward tried to reassure her. You did great, the jury believed you. Vance made me sound like a criminal. She did her job, but the evidence backs up everything you said. That's what matters. Is it enough to convict him? I think so, but juries are unpredictable. Hayward poured them both coffee. We've got closing arguments tomorrow. Then it's in their hands. The next morning, Whitmore delivered his closing argument. He recapped the evidence, the testimony, the undeniable proof of Caldwell's crimes. Edward Caldwell thought he was untouchable, thought his money and power put him above the law, but he was wrong because one woman, one housekeeper had the courage to say no, to stand up, to fight back. He pointed at Na. Na Walker isn't a criminal, she's a hero, and because of her 16 murder victims, will get justice. Hundreds of trafficking victims will be free, and this monster will finally answer for what he's done. Then it was Vance's turn. She painted Caldwell as a successful businessman targeted by disgruntled employees and criminals looking to avoid prison. She dismissed the evidence as fabricated, the witnesses as liars. The prosecution wants you to believe that Mr. Caldwell is some kind of criminal mastermind. But where's the proof? Where's the smoking gun? All they have are the words of people with every reason to lie. People like Daniel Ross, a career criminal. People like Na Walker, a housekeeper who stole from her employer and now claims she did it for justice. Vance shook her head. Don't be fooled. This is a witch hunt, and Mr. Caldwell is innocent. The jury deliberated for 4 days. 4 days of waiting, of second-guessing, of wondering if all the sacrifice had been worth it. On the 4th day, they reached a verdict. The courtroom was packed when the jury filed in. Na sat in the front row, her heart in her throat. The judge asked the foreman if they'd reached a verdict. We have your honor. On the charge of racketeering, how do you find guilty? The courtroom erupted. The judge called for order. On the charge of murder in the 1st degree, guilty. On the charge of human trafficking, guilty, 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 43 counts. Guilty on every single one. Caldwell's face remained impassive. But Na saw his hands clench, saw the moment he realized he'd lost. The judge set sentencing for 2 weeks later. Na walked out of the courthouse in a daze. Reporters shouted questions. Cameras flashed. Hayward steered her through the crowd to a waiting car. "You did it," Hayward said once they were safely inside. "It's over." "Is it? The trial is? Sentencing is a formality. He's going to prison for the rest of his life." Na should have felt relieved, triumphant, but all she felt was tired. That night, Daniel called again. "Congratulations," he said. "Thanks. You sound exhausted." "I am. I think I've been running on adrenaline for 6 months and it just ran out." "That's normal. The crash after the fight." He paused. "What are you going to do now?" "I don't know. Go back to Charleston, I guess. Keep being Emma Mitchell." "You could be Na Walker again. If you wanted, the threat's over." "Is it Caldwell's in prison, but his network was huge? There are people out there who blame me for destroying their lives." "Fair point." Daniel was quiet for a moment. "For what it's worth, I think you are remarkable. What you did took more courage than most people have in their entire lives." "I didn't feel courageous. I felt terrified." "That's what courage is. Being terrified and doing it anyway." 2 weeks later, Na returned to New York for sentencing. Caldwell stood before the judge, hands-cuffed orange jumpsuit replacing his expensive suits. The judge read the sentence: life in prison without possibility of parole, plus additional consecutive sentences totaling 300 years. "Mr. Caldwell, you used your wealth and influence to prey on the vulnerable. You trafficked human beings like they were commodities. You murdered anyone who stood in your way. And you corrupted the institutions meant to protect us." The judge's voice was hard. "You will spend the rest of your life in prison, and I hope that every day you think about the lives you destroyed." Caldwell was led away. He didn't look back. After the sentencing, Hayward pulled Na aside. "There's someone who wants to see you." She led Na to a conference room. Inside was a woman, early 20s, dark hair, nervous eyes. "Na Walker, this is Maria Santos. She was one of the trafficking victims, rescued after Caldwell's arrest." Maria stood and extended her hand. "Thank you for everything you did." Na shook her hand, feeling the weight of that gratitude. "I just did what anyone should have done." "No, most people look away. You didn't." Maria's eyes filled with tears. "Because of you, I'm free. 17 other women are free. We get to go home. We get to have lives." They talked for an hour. Maria told her story, the promises she'd been made, the nightmare she'd endured, the hope she'd lost and found again. When they finally parted, Maria hugged her. "You're a hero, whether you believe it or not." Na flew back to Charleston that night, back to her studio apartment and her quiet job and her normal life. But something had changed. She wasn't invisible anymore, wasn't small, wasn't just surviving. 3 months after the trial, Sarah Chen published a book, The Basement Secret: How One Woman Brought Down a Billion-Dollar Criminal Empire. Na's face was on the cover. The book became a bestseller. Movie studios called, interview requests flooded in. Na turned them all down. She didn't want fame, didn't want money. She wanted something else. She quit her job at the law firm and started volunteering at a nonprofit that helped trafficking survivors. She used her experience, her story, her voice. She helped other women find the courage to speak up, to fight back, to survive. 6 months after that, Daniel showed up at her door. "How did you find me?" she asked. "I have skills." He smiled. "Can I come in?" They sat on her small balcony watching the ocean. "I read Sarah's book," he said. "You came off pretty heroic." "I told her not to make me sound like a hero." "Too bad. You are one." He looked at her. "I've been doing the same thing, helping people, trying to make up for the damage I caused." "Is it working?" I don't know, but it feels right. For the first time in my life, I'm doing something that matters." They sat in comfortable silence for a while. "I've been thinking," Daniel said finally, "about starting a foundation, using the money I have left, the legitimate money, to help trafficking survivors. Job training, housing, support services." He turned to her. "I could use someone who knows what they're doing. Someone who's been in the trenches. You asking me to work with you. I'm asking if you want to do something bigger, make a real difference." Na thought about this, about the life she'd built as Emma Mitchell, safe, quiet, small, and about the life she could build as Na Walker, dangerous, loud, significant. "Yeah," she said. "Yeah, I do. 1 year after the trial, the Voices Foundation opened its doors. Co-founded by Na Walker and Thomas Brennan Daniels' new identity, it provided comprehensive support for trafficking survivors. Housing, legal aid, job training, therapy, everything victims needed to rebuild their lives. The first year they helped 40 women, the second year 200. By the fifth year, they'd expanded to 6 cities and helped over 2,000 survivors. Na stood at a fundraising gala looking out at a room full of donors and supporters. She thought about the woman she'd been 5 years ago, the housekeeper who'd stumbled into a nightmare and somehow survived it. That woman had been looking for safety, for invisibility, for a quiet life. This woman had found something better: purpose, meaning, a reason to keep fighting. "Thank you all for being here," she said into the microphone. "5 years ago, I was just a housekeeper trying to get by. Then I found a man in chains and my whole world changed. I could have walked away. Probably should have, but I didn't. And that choice, that one choice to help someone who needed it, changed everything." She paused, looking at the faces watching her. We all have that choice every day, to look away or to step forward, to stay silent or to speak up, to survive or to fight. She smiled. "I chose to fight, and I'm asking you to fight with me. For the women who can't fight for themselves. For the victims who need our voices. For a world where people like Edward Caldwell don't get away with destroying lives." The room erupted in applause after the gala. Na and Daniel stood outside watching the city lights. "You were great in there," he said. "I meant every word." "I know, that's why it was great." He looked at her. "You ever regretted any of it?" "Every day and never." She smiled. "It's complicated. Everything worth doing is." They stood in comfortable silence, two people who'd been through hell and somehow found their way to something resembling peace. "You think we made a difference?" Na asked quietly. "I know we did. 2,000 lives saved, Caldwell in prison, his network destroyed." Daniel's voice was firm. "We made a difference." And Victor, Mrs. Henderson, Rachel Torres, all the people who died, they didn't die for nothing. They died fighting and were carrying on that fight. He put his hand on her shoulder. "That's all we can do. Keep fighting, keep helping, keep making the world a little less terrible than it was yesterday." Na nodded. He was right. She thought about the basement where this all started. The chains, the fear, the moment she decided to help instead of walk away. That moment had cost her everything. Her quiet life, her anonymity, her safety, and it had given her everything too. Purpose, meaning, a reason to wake up every morning and fight. She wouldn't change it, not a single second, because Na Walker had learned something in that basement. Something Victor and Mrs. Henderson and Rachel and Daniel had all learned too. The powerful make the rules, but the powerless can break them. All it takes is one person, one choice, one moment of courage, and everything changes.